Chapter 2: The Lion. Cobus, my husband, found the orphan in a crevice beneath a boulder, its voice hoarse from crying. It was a tiny lion cub, only 2 or 3 days old. As a game ranger for South Africa's Kruger National Park, Cobus knew the cub would die if he left it, so he wrapped it in his shirt and carried it to his truck. Then he called me on the radio.
"I have found a lion cub abandoned by its mother,"
he told me.
"What shall I do?"
I knew what that question meant. For one brief moment, I thought, me? Mother to a lion? But I said, bring it home. The cub, small as he was feisty. His eyes weren't yet open, but he hissed and made brave little growling noises at us, his face puckering into a fierce-looking crinkle. Within days, however, he began to grow weak and lose chunks of fur. He seemed hungry all the time, slapping at his bottle in an impatient way, and when the vet diagnosed malnutrition, I realized with alarm that the formula I'd concocted was hopelessly inadequate. Our 3 daughters and I took turns holding and comforting the cub, and after about a week on his liquid diet, he started to recover. Lying on his back, he would swipe mischievously at us. Gradually he gained weight, grew new fur, and turned into healthy lion baby with beautiful rust-colored eyes. We decided all to call him Leo. As Leo grew larger and more powerful, he also developed a lion-sized personality. He couldn't resist stalking and pouncing on us, and we got into the habit of glancing nervously over our shoulders and bracing for impact. One day, as I was gardening, I heard the phone ring. As usual, Leo jumped on me before I could reach the house. At the door, a lightning movement at the edge of my vision made me freeze. It was Mozambique spitting cobra that had made its residence in one of our flower beds. Leo evidently thought I had stopped because I wanted to play again. Just as the snake began to retreat, he pounced on me from behind and sent me tumbling. With that, the cobra spat at us, and the venom caught me on the leg, where it dripped towards a scratch on my ankle. I pushed Leo away and hurried to the nearest tap to wash off the poison before it could make contact with my raw skin. Leo evidently had the instinct for hunting, but we still worried about his ability to survive once he was too big for us to manage. He and our Australian cattle dog, Wolfie, had become inseparable friends. And lately, Leo had been learning canine skills that would disgrace most lions, including, in one instance, the art of herding a bewildered mother hog and her 3 babies. In 1993, when Leo was about a year old, our park warden began urging us to find a permanent home for him. We found a park that kept animals for tourism and filming purposes. Once there, however, Leo cowered in the grass when he saw the other lions and refused to budge. We expressed our concern, but the owner reassured us that it usually took a hand-reared lion same time to realize he was a lion. When it was time for us to leave, I brought Leo a favorite pillow I had owned since childhood. As if he knew we were going, he slumped to a crouch, clutching the pillow. We drove away and only Wolfie looked back, staring at his friend until he could no longer see him. More than a year passed, with little word of how Leo was adapting. Finally, in July 1995, Cobus and I and our youngest daughter, Karen, made a long journey to visit him. When we arrived, Leo appeared from between some trees, and my heart caught in my throat. He was so big, some 650 kilos now, but his features were the same. He halted and stared at us with a puzzled expression. Suddenly, his eyes came alive with the recognition, and he rushed forward, throwing himself at Cobus with a shuddering groan, while turning his huge body sideways to reduce the impact. Shaking with emotion, I stepped forward and offered Leo my arm, which he took gently in his jaws. Then I hugged his enormous face to mine, trying hard not to cry. During our last day at park, we found Leo lying in the sun with 2 lionesses. He ran to us, and we talked to him until one of the lionesses gave a call. With an answering grunt, Leo walked back and lay down with her again. He looked regal, like the contented king that he was. That's when I know Leo had become a real lion. He had his own family now, and it was time for us to say goodbye.